Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kastuba Das. Kastuba joining us live from Rishikesh. Welcome to the show, everybody. We've made it back to the US of A. Super Soul Farm. It's really not part of the United States. It's like a spiritual abode. And you're in Rishikesh, also holy place at the Kirtan Festival. And I tell you, Kastuba, that jet lag, I was like, we're going to do it. We're going to beat jet lag. We slept 9 hours on the plane. We read the entire way. We got in a Uber, went to New Jersey, picked up our car at Nam Ross's house, drove straight here, stayed up, made dinner when I went to Trader Joe's. Mara made this incredible dinner for the kids and Maya.
Just jump right back into it.
We jumped right back into it, went to bed at 9 o'clock. We're like, we put melatonin by our bed. We are going to go to sleep. I hit the pillow. Ever have one of those wake ups like, satisfying. I slept through the night. I woke up. I was like, I feel fully rested. I looked at my watch. It's 10:30 at night. I was like, okay, go back to bed. Please go back to bed. But then I did. I woke up again at 1:30. I was like, go back to bed. Please, Raghu, go back to bed. Then I did it. I woke up at 5. I feel rested.
I told you it was going to be
I think I'm going to beat this jet lag.
You're doing good, Raghu. You're doing good.
My 18-year-old daughter bought a Ninja motorcycle. You know, the ones that go 0 to 70 in 3 seconds. That one. Okay. She didn't get like a laid back Royal Enfield. She got a Ninja. Hare Krishna. She's 18. She can do whatever she wants. Krishna. How's Rishikesh, my friend? Congratulations on the new book, Kastuba. There he is.
I don't know what the deal with that is.
There he is. I got this. It's Jiu-Jitsu not put this on his stories. It's OBL Kapoor's the Goswamis of Vrindavan. So I didn't have this book, and so I bought it. And look at that. It looks like Kastuba is modeling for this. If you're not on YouTube or Zoom, you're not going to see this, but there's a guy that looks just like Kastuba.
How did that happen?
I don't know. But look what I got. I got a case of my books in the mail. Isn't that cool? This is real. It's a real book coming out. Haven't got it. Amazon.com. Go to Punk to Monk. Or go to one of my shows. It's going to be at my shows in Tampa and my show in Miami, which is coming up in a couple weeks. Going to hang out with Linda. She's going to be there with Mara. They're both stage diving. And if you did order it, go back and double it. Woo! Okay. Give one to a friend. Kastuba.
Yes,
how you know what was great, Kastuba? You called me the other
this
day.
is the second time you asked me. Let's see. And then you curled off. What you do is but what you do is you bring me in until you think of something to say about your own life, and then you go with that, and then when you run out of speed, then you turn back to me, and then if you remember something about your own life, then you go back. That's how you operate right now. But it's okay.
Well, you know what? I
want to hear. What do you have to say?
We had a conversation sometime yesterday during that drive.
Right.
Yeah, you and I. And then
when you were driving home.
I
Yeah.
can't remember where I was, but it was yesterday sometime. Um, and we both were like sharing our realizations about everything, and we both came to the same conclusion.
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
Raghunath.
that was, and I was like,
Yes.
we
Yes.
are, we are. What did we say the other day? What's our analog, our algorithms? We were sharing the same
Yeah.
brain algorithms, which
Yes.
is our spiritual life depends on our attentive chanting. That's what it came down to.
Yeah.
It doesn't depend on my cool dhoti I just bought. It doesn't depend on the kirtan I went to the other night. It doesn't depend on it. It depends on me sitting and hearing the holy name. And that's where like and it's been my sort of like commitment for like the last 6 months. And I will say I struggled with it in India just because so much stuff is going on. And I'm on a japa walk all the time. I'm over japa walks. I'm on a japa sit and hear the holy name. It's good to be back in my little chair, sitting in front of my paintings of Krishna and just chanting there and just chanting there. And that's
Nice.
gonna, and my spirit, and that is gonna be the seed, to make a healthy fertilizer to make this bhakti lata grow stronger and stronger and stronger. I also started thinking like, yeah, I'm not gonna get into it, but
Go on. No, that sounds like that's the interesting stuff right there, whatever you're holding back.
well, sometimes they say, well, in an initiation, you should lessen chanting. No, you got to chant. Chanting is it's not, you can't minimize chanting. Minimize everything else, but don't minimize the chanting.
This is, these are my, what do they call it? Affirmation. No more just chanting to get the rounds done. No
Yeah,
more.
that was nice. That was nice.
No more.
Knocking off your round. Don't knock off your japa.
No way. And no more inattentive chanting in general. That
No.
just cannot be. And what you just, oh man, what you just said, chant more than the 16, because if you only, like in other words, you and I
I
have
was going to
taken.
push me even further. Chant more than your 16 round.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Can you just let me feel good about myself for a day?
I wasn't talking about you. I was just, these are my affirmations. But I did phrase that as you. I didn't mean you individual. I'm talking about humanity in general. But here's the thing. You and I have taken vows to chant 16 rounds. If we only chant 16 and then we stop, it really means we have no taste for it. It's like admitting. It's just like giving up. Like I chant my 16, but I only do that much because I have to. If we're not chanting more, if we don't want to pick up the beads after we finish the 16 at some point in the day, then that means we haven't developed a taste. And I think if we start to chant more than the 16 and just really make that our natural, common kind of way to work.
I really appreciate that. That's the realization you got for you. That's good. That's the realization.
I wasn't pushing it on you.
Very good.
I wasn't pushing on you.
Very good.
I was not pushing.
Okay, so we got Punkta Monk, we got Goswamis of Vrindavan. Me and Mara got a bunch of new books. We're excited. We're lugging books home like trunks of books.
I have some books too. It's heavy,
Books are heavy.
It's heavy.
Books are heavy. We got some cool books for the gift shop. We're excited about everything.
I was having one of the most wonderful experiences studying today in my life.
Oh, really?
But let me first go back because there's some things I need to share. Rogan. I've been doing some stuff here.
Chant 16 rounds, double it. Double it.
You always wanted to throw that double it out there, didn't you? Throw it back.
I did double it. I was chanting 8 rounds. I doubled it.
Okay. I left. Oh man, I left Mayapur on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
But before I left, I went into the TOVP and the Nrsingadev wing that was recently, it was still more finished when I went in there on Saturday morning. They had a big, if you go to YouTube and you go to Mayapur, is it Mayapur TV or it's something aboutMayapur, and if you can
come
find
on the show not knowing stuff.
All right, Mara, maybe you can look for that. I sent the link to
a
Rugby.
YouTube address. That's no good.
Yeah. That temple is magnificent already.
Magnificent. I know. I saw that.
And so it's going to be insane when the whole thing is done. And not only that, but it feels auspicious. It feels like Nrsingadev will be installed, and he's going to remove the obstacles to accomplish this incredible task of, that temple is, it's not a dead temple. It's going to be alive with energy. It's going to inspire people. It's going to purify the minds, the hearts. I have a lot of faith in that. But in any case, that was really, really nice. Then I drove down to Calcutta.
Calcutta's great.
When
man. I love Calcutta. It's become my favorite city.
Well, let me tell you. Let me share a little bit about Calcutta. I got there. I hadn't eaten
dirty
all
city.
day.
Dirty city. man.
That's why you like it so much.
It's as if a bomb went off and everyone's like, well, whatever.
Another thing I was thinking today, I was saying, because last night I went to this RT on the bank of the Ganga here in Rishikesh, and it was a whole big scene. They got 14 pujaris doing the, worshiping Ganga Devi with the big lamps and everything, and the whole thing it's a big mess of masses of people, and it's kind of.
Wait, you didn't go to the one at what's it called?
No, I went to the one near
Premartinaketan. You went to the.
I went to the nearer one, which is more like a local thing, less of a tourist thing, and more like a local thing, And there's something like messy but pure. The dirty is another thing. Dirty is impure. Messy and pure means like, I just sat down in a bunch of orange stuff, but it's holy. I just
I just put my flip flop in a big thing of cow dung, but it's holy.
Yeah. Someone just put something on my forehead. I have no idea. It's messy, but it's pure.
Sure.
And so like Hinduism and like up here in Rishikesh, in particular, Sanatan Dharma, the whole place is messy, but messy, pure messy.
Yeah.
And
Calcutta's just messy.
Calcutta's just dirty. That's it's like dirty, but not all of it. And
well,
here's
it's got
the point.
a pure element because the Ganga runs through it.
Oh, no doubt.
And everybody worships Krishna or Kali. I mean, people are doing artiques, and there's still a strong religious sentiment in.
Oh, no doubt.
All over in Calcutta.
No doubt. And so I got I didn't manage to eat until about like 7 at night or something like that, the whole day.
Yeah.
So and I was driving, and my driver driving me down was one of these stop start guys, like
I hate that.
On and off of the brake like that. So I was like hungry, nauseous, tired, like the whole thing when I got there.
Yeah.
And I checked into the hotel first, and I had to wait to check in, and then I went up, and then I came back down. I set up, they set up a ride for me to take me to my whole mission in going to Calcutta was to go to the Ultadunga Junction Temple, this historic, recently restored temple where Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who we've been speaking about recently on the show, where this was like, I think it was like his first temple in Calcutta.
That's the meeting place.
He stayed there. Yeah, he stayed there from 1918 until 1930. And that is the place where Srila Prabhupada walked up onto the roof, bowed down to him, and by the time Srila Prabhupada was coming up, Prabhupada was 22 years old at the time, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said to him and his friend, you two, young men like you that speak English well, you should be teaching the pure teachings of bhakti in the Western world, around the whole globe, And that was an order that he heard in the very first words his guru spoke to him. And he held that in his heart from when he was 22 until he was 70 years old, that he landed on the shores of America,
cool.
Right?
It's pretty cool.
Lifetime in preparation.
Yeah.
So that temple, it was a kind of like ruins. They restored it so
nicely,
tastefully, so beautifully. And it was so nice. And you go up on that roof and you could feel the presence of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Srila Prabhupada. I was very moved. And, when people really put their heart into that kind of restoration work and do it with such thoughtfulness and so tastefully, it brings out the bhav that you're meant to feel. It brings out the inner mood that you're meant to feel when you're there. And they did it. They pulled it off. The place is like a jewel. It's like pristine.
All right, I want to go. All right, we got to go back to Calcutta now.
You have to go. You have to go, Ravi.
You told me to go, and I was like, no. It was one of those famous orders, like, all right, you're going today. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
I had to. Now you're inspired.
Every
though, right?
day
That's-
you told me to go there and I wouldn't go.
Ultadango,
I was like,
Ultadango.
well, I am going to the
But
vegetarian
but I
restaurant.
do have a story about that. Was so then every time they were setting up rides for me in Calcutta, it was like taking forever. Like they set up the hotel set up an Uber ride, and then they canceled or something. It took me like I had to wait about an hour just sitting in the hotel waiting for a ride.
Yeah.
And then the same thing was kind of happening there. They fed me some khichdi. I was like, I'm hungry and not, and they gave me a big plate of khichdi. And I was looking at it saying, is this? I knew it was going to be spicy, right?
I know.
Like I might not be able to eat any of it. They just gave me a
Right.
big plate of it, you know. I said, "Is this
Huge.
going to be spicy?"
Oh, no,
And they
no,
said,
no
"Oh,
problem.
just a little,
Just a
very
little,
little, very little spicy, Prabhu."
Prabhu.
And I knew that that meant there's hope that it might be just bearable, you know. And that's exactly what it was. I could eat it, and I ate the whole plate, and it just that prasadam just entered my system and healed
Oh.
me. You know, it
Oh.
was great. Yeah. And I was I was flying so high because I had just seen that place. I was feeling just wonderful feelings inside, and then I was sitting in. You kind of sit on the stoop of the place. It's really cool. It's kind of like a real hangout scene. Like sweet people there, cool people, cool Calcutta people, just old ladies, little old Bengali ladies coming in. They're all pious.
It's
and
a short
devotional.
culture, isn't it? It's a short culture. Bengal is everyone's
Yeah,
short.
there's a lot of short people.
And Punjab, they're all tall.
But you know, Calcutta people are kind of like New Yorkers. You know, they got a certain
They do. It's
attitude.
very New York. Calcutta's very New York.
Oh yeah, yes. And so it was real. I was loving the vibe. And then then they get me this Uber ride. They're calling it. It also took like about 40 minutes. And then the ride finally showed up, and they said, "Prabhu, your ride is here." And I'm looking around, I don't see it. And yeah, you're right over there. I'm like, where? I don't. Over there is a motorcycle. It's an Uber motorcycle.
What if you had a piece of luggage?
Well, they saw me. I was
travel,
right there.
You travel like Huck Finn. You know, you got like a stick and a bandana.
But
What if
no,
you
but I
had
didn't.
What if you had a piece of luggage?
No,
man?
they saw me. I came in there with nothing, so they knew.
Okay.
But I was thinking. This is what I was thinking. I think you know they say go right there, and it's a motorcycle, and there's just some some guy, any guy driving this motorcycle, and he hands me the helmet. You know, like the dustiest, greasiest looking thing you've ever seen. That was actually the terrifying part. Was putting my head in the helmet
on.
and
slid right on.
Yeah, and I was thinking to myself, you know,
this is not a good way to die.
No, I was thinking like I didn't want this to become like, do you know who I am kind of moment, but it's like thinking like if so-and-so Swami was here, would you be putting him on the back of this motorcycle? And how many rungs down the we value your life ladder, like which rung am I standing on? So anyway,
yeah.
So anyway,
life is cheaper. Life is cheaper. They accept the eternality of the soul.
That's what I had to do. I just, Raghunath, remember I told you the day before I left, it was just like, I'm in Krishna's hands. I don't know where I'm going to sleep. I don't know what I'm going to eat. I'm just going, and I just accepted that motorcycle ride in that mood. And it was interesting.
That's good. Because me and Mary experienced the worst turbulence ever on that flight home. I was like, okay, I guess today's the day. I wasn't expecting it today, but today,
I'm glad I went to Vrindavan.
Unfortunately, a day before, I saw this video on Instagram of like everybody on a plane just hitting the ceiling, then hitting the floor, then going to the left, and then a hole in the plane, and people getting sucked out the hole. I was like, all right, that's it. I'll have to like have that some scar on my consciousness forever. Anyway, I don't want to go into this more because we have some things we have to give away. Silver Tulsi Malas.
I still haven't spoken about Rishikesh, Shragan. We got to go there, but if you want to do the Silver Tulsi Mala, we'll do that.
Let's do. What's their web address?
Silver
underscore.
Yeah, underscore Tulasi underscore Mala.
Silver underscore Tulsi underscore Mala Tulsi. Right.
Tulasi?
Yeah.
Or Tulsi?
Tulasi. Tulasi. Right, Mara?
Yes.
Okay. You see these beautiful things with the kabacha on them? They're really nice. They're quite wonderful. And they're going to be given away right now to somebody on Zoom, unless you're initiated or from Lebanon. Because yes, because we're not sending to the Lebanon, and the 10-year-old Lebanon kid knows all the answers to everything.
Okay. Karuna can't play?
All right. Karuna cannot play. Okay.
Aww.
So here's the deal for Silver Tulsi Mala. This is our favorite Tulsi guy in India. He makes some quality because Tulsi beads always break, and we love these.
They
And
look
I'm wearing,
nice.
they do. They are very nice. I'm wearing these right now. Follow him on
No,
Instagram
yours are
right
much
now.
bigger than those, though. Those
And
are
no, these are glorious and
more
beautiful.
delicate.
They're
Yeah.
delicate. So
Good for ladies, good for
here's a
men,
simple
both.
question. Yeah, ladies or men. Simple question. Where does the Saraswati come from on this planet? Where is its source on this planet? Put on the message board, and you got yourself
Yeah.
some silver Tulsi malas. No Googling. No Googling,
a hard
Cheryl
question.
Mervine. I'm looking at her.
No, people
Yeah,
can Google. Why not?
because you got to know this stuff.
She was writing. She's not Googling. She's writing the answer.
All right, let's see.
But how can you write it in the pen? We're not going to be able to read it.
Where's the source? Currently, I thought not running. It's not running. Actually, the Saraswati actually. Yeah, it's running.
Isabel Villadosa
It
is the
is running.
Himalayas.
Isabel, good question. Too vague. You could
Too
just
vague.
say India, right?
More
Isabel
specific.
Villadosa too. Let me make it easier. You could just
Earth.
say from okay, and we're
Meru?
gonna Meru. Okay, now we're gonna do another one. We're gonna do another one because people are going too slow.
All right.
Holy place in the Himalayas, source of the Yamuna. This one should be easy. Source of the Yamuna in the Himalayas. Come on, people. Aravali.
It's
Never heard that.
practically there. Like, it's almost too obvious, the source.
It's
of
too
Yamuna.
obvious, this one. Yep,
There
got
you
it.
go.
Babananda
Babananda
got it. You get this, Babananda. These are yours. Silver
Yamunotri.
Tulsi Mala. You can write Silver Tulsi Mala and say you got these, and you send Mara your address, and she'll ship them to you today. More stuff for the to-do list for Mara. Okay, let's get on with the show.
No, hey, I thought we were going to talk about Rishikesh. Can we do
I thought
that?
we already did.
No, we haven't even said a word about Rishikesh.
Oh, we talking about Calcutta. Okay. Go on,
You're
Prabhu.
not interested.
What's
You're,
up?
you're not-
Have you bathed in the Ganga yet? That's the question.
Yes, I have bathed in the Ganga.
Okay.
It was wonderful.
Yeah,
It was
it is.
wonderful. But yeah, I flew in. There's a lovely rainbow as I was coming down in the Dehradun airport.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, it was really cool. It had rained here a lot, and then as soon as I got here, there's a whole thing going on here right now, where Indradyumna Swami brings all these talented devotees and musicians, and he's just in his heart, he's just given his life to trying to satisfy Srila Prabhupada, his guru's desire to spread the chanting of the Maha Mantra. So I walked into this place let me say first I ran into Gauravani on the street. We hung out a bit, and then I went with Keish and his whole group, and MC Yogi and all these people. They had a group from Miami. Cool people, some regular listeners. Shout out to you. I believe your name was Leela. No, Vlasen. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name now, but really cool lady from
Miami, right?
Miami. Yeah, name is slipping Miami. Nikunja Vilas.
Leela.
I think it was Nikunja Vilas. But anyway, a lot of cool people on their tour, and we went to the Yamuna Arti. We were all able to offer lamps, and then after
Ganga
they do the
Arti. You
Arti,
said
it's a
Yamuna.
big. There are
Ganga.
hundreds and hundreds of people there. It was really beautiful. 14 pujaris, 14 priests with big, huge lamps. Great kirtan playing the whole time. All kind of mantras going on. And then when the arti was done, they give everyone flowers, and everyone goes to the river and throws the flowers in.
Nice.
It was great. And then they just kept the kirtan going. There are hundreds of people chanting and dancing in ecstasy. It was beautiful. It was really, you would have been.
That's what you
heaven.
do in holy places. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it was
That's what you
great.
do.
It was great. Everybody happy. Everyone celebrating, dancing like it's the most joyful day in their lives, And it really, it was just, it was beautiful. Some old guys doing the kirtan, some old guys sitting behind the harmonium there, and going into
Hearing and chanting in holy places. And you want to
Oh.
prepare for your pilgrimage? Hear and chant here, wherever you are. Hear and chant here. Hear the stories, sing some kirtan,
Yeah.
chant some japa,
Yeah.
read the Bhagavatam. Then when you go to India, you do the same thing there, and everything goes boom, explodes. Otherwise, you're just a tourist. You're a tourist,
Yeah.
and you're looking. Oh, look at that cool architecture. Oh, well, that was a great Sag Paneer. No,
So
What that-
funny. So so then, you know, and it was raining. It was really far out. You know, there's lightning going off and stuff. But it was like, then we all got into some of these fancy little tuk auto rickshaw things they have here.
And when we say fancy, we mean not fancy at all.
No,
but-
no, no. They were like fancy inside. It was like
Oh yeah.
it almost
like
felt like I was in some kind of
Palanquin.
yeah, something like that. Anyway, then they took us up and we went to the kirtan. You know, there's this big ashram that Indrajuna Swami's taken over for 21 days. And every night, every day and every night, there's kirtan and other kinds of courses. And there was maybe 400 people crammed into that place. Just
Wow.
all these local, you know, all these people visiting. You know, the people come here to learn yoga. They come here to learn meditation.
Sure.
And they all come to the kirtan. And if Gauravani was leading, the place was just beautiful vibe. You know, again, I was sitting there watching the kirtan at, you know, jumping in the kirtan at on the bank of the Yamuna, bank of the Ganga, and then when I was watching this kirtan going, I walked into the place. Again, like 400 people. There's a stage set up. It's set up tastefully. The whole thing. Indrajuna Swami is very tasteful. He's got a very fine aesthetic sense, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's there in everything he does. And he's sitting up on the there's one kind of there are two stages, and he's sitting up on one, and I just looked at him. I said, "This man is like what 70 something, mid 70s,
Sure.
right?" And it would be easy for him to just kind of rest out the rest of his life, make it a quiet life, or sit in
Yeah.
the Vrindavan, and he just keeps going. You know, there are 400 people in that room chanting in ecstasy because he had a desire, and then he organized it, and he put in effort, and he, you know,
He's like he's
conceives
got
it.
the energy of like an NFL quarterback. You know, he's
It's-
just like
he's gonna-
powerful.
He's gonna die just serving
In-
that order.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing that I really respect. So I had a few words with him. I woke up this morning.
Does he like the podcast?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
likes the podcast.
All right.
I've been bumping into a few people, just strangers walking around Rishikesh that listen to the podcast. By the way, we should have posters all over Rishikesh, Raghunath.
Nikki_rocks. That's her handle. Nikunja Leela, or I don't know if
Gotcha.
that's her name, but
Cool.
that's her name. She's a yoga teacher in Miami.
Okay. But we should have posters, Wisdom of the Sages posters all over Rishikesh. Raghunath.
We should. Who wants
Yeah,
to do
I'm
some
gonna-
service?
I'm going to try to
Timothy
make that
Tucker,
happen.
get to Rishikesh.
Okay.
That's
So-
I've given you an order.
But this morning I went down to the Ganga early in the morning, and I just chanting there. It was beautiful, and then at 12:30 the devotees have lunch here. So I went down to the Ganga again, and I bathed. It was wonderful, you know. It was wonderful. It was ice cold.
Not a good bathing spot
And yeah, there's that big ghat there. This is called Sai Ghat.
on the East Coast, eastern.
Yeah, on the eastern side and Tapovan area.
Yeah.
And you know what Rishikesh is like, Raghunath, how I feel.
How do you feel?
Centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries of sadhus, of rishis, of yogis came to this
Hippies.
spot. And some hippies too. That's only a couple decades of that.
Couple decades of hippies and
they
monks
haven't. Yeah, but you feel it. It's thick in the air. It's thick in the atmosphere. You know.
Mm.
And you sit by the bank of that river that you know sages for so many centuries have sat right there, have bathed right there, to connect with God within their hearts, to see God in nature, and you kind of get caught up in their momentum. You know, you feel that momentum, you know, and the momentum of the river coming down, and to get into that cold water. Oh man, you come out there, you feel alive, you feel spiritually alive, you know.
I bet.
And then I just kind of wrapped myself up, and I sat on that on it's a very wide ghat, you know, it's like 100 yards or something like that. Wow.
Yeah.
And nice sandstone, and I sat there, I laid out my shastra, and I just studied my book.
Nice.
And you know, I could touch that book, and I could feel like it's not just a book. It's like I'm connected to Jiva Goswami, who spoke this book 500 years ago. You know, it's like
Mhm.
there's nothing in between us. You know, we're not distant at all. We're totally connected, and you can feel that in a place like this. You know, it was nice. And after that, I went and Indraduna Swami invited me to come for lunch with him, and some really nice devotees, Badahari Prabhu, Sri Prahlad Prabhu, and a few others.
Ah, what a good. You know
He
what? Let's
showed me
do
his
it.
whole altar.
Mara,
I
let's
told
do
him
this
about the
next year.
deity.
Let's do this
that
next
you,
year.
we got to do it. We got to do it.
Let's
Gotta
do
make some
this,
happen.
and how many people were there this year? Next year, double it. We're gonna double that. Let's double it,
Okay.
guys. Let's all show up.
That would be interesting. We could bring a group here. We could bring a group here this time of the year, do our own thing during the day, and then join those kirtans at night.
Double that.
Yeah. Okay.
All
All right.
Let's get into the
Ready to get into
Bhagavatam
it?
because
This is
we're
all
inspired.
Bhagavatam, Raghunath. It's all
It is Bhagavatam. That's what I wanted to tell you. Let's get into it more. I wanted to double what we were already doing.
Flipped it on me, did you? Huh?
Good. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim yasam tatojayam adirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, and to Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksuram Adatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, Text 25. We are in
25?
deep.
Oh, no, hey, we still haven't finished the purport
to
23, 24.
Yeah.
Right?
We were talking about something. I was like, let's not forget this. Now I forgot it. Let's not. I was like, we got to go back and read this.
So I'll bring us back up to date. The saintly little Prahlad was asked by his father again, what's the best thing you learned in school? He was hoping he was going to say something like how to destroy the enemy, right? All the different tactics or whatever. That's not what he said. He said, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishno Smarnam Padasevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam. He said, he listed the 9 practices of pure devotional service. And that upset his father, but we haven't gotten to that part where his father gets upset yet. But we read, this is I think it's Srila Prabhupada's longest commentary, where he at length speaks about each one of these 9. Mm-hmm. We heard about Shravanam, which means hearing the text of Srimad Bhagavatam and similar texts. We heard about Kirtanam, the hearing and the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. We heard about Smarnam. You could call it meditation, remembering or meditating, meditating, especially on the pastimes.
I was doing some serious smarnam during that turbulence. I was like, smarnam.
I don't know if that's smarnam.
Yes, it was.
Praying desperately for your...
It wasn't praying. Safety. It was just meditating on Krishna. I was like, if I'm going to go, I'm going to be thinking of Krishna while I go.
Nice.
Mara, of course, slept through the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she did.
All right, ready? Padasevanam. What does that mean?
Serving the lotus feet of.
Serving the lotus feet. Yeah. And
this is the example of Padasevanam, Kostuba. Who's the example of Padasevanam?
That would be Lakshmi Devi.
Mm-hmm.
But, when Prabhupada speaks about it, let's see what he writes about. You ready?
Yeah.
He says, when one is... and by the way, this is just an excerpt from this...
There's no stumping Kostuba. He's stumpless.
Oh, no, you could stump me on all kind of things. He said, when one is particularly adherent to the process of Padasevanam, this process gradually includes other processes. So it includes other things. What does it mean to serve the feet? Such as seeing the form of the Lord, touching the form of the Lord. Here I think we're speaking about the archana, although archana is the next thing online, but the carved form. Circumambulating the form of the Lord, the form or temple of the Lord.
Okay.
visiting such places as Jagannath Puri, Dwarka, and Mathura to see the Lord's form, and bathing in the Ganges or Yamuna. Bathing in the Ganges and serving pure Vaishnavas are also known as Tadiya Upasanam. Okay, so do you know what Tadiya means?
No.
Quiz. Tadiya. There's a famous verse. What was it? Vaishnava. What is it? Oh man. Tadiyanam Smarachanam.
That's the equivalent of
Aradhananam
giving up.
Sarvesham.
Okay.
This is Lord Shiva speaking to Parvati. Aradhananam Sarvesham. Aradhananam, of all different types of worship. Aradhananam Sarvesham. Vishnu Aradhanam Param. The worship of Vishnu is the highest. But then he says, what is it? Something Devi, Tadiyanam Samarchanam, that to serve that which is related to Lord Vishnu is still even higher. And that especially means the people that are related to Vishnu, the people that are dear to Lord. So saying worship of Lord Vishnu is the highest, but worshiping that which is in relation to Vishnu, because that pleases Vishnu even more.
Those who claim to be my devotees are not my devotees, but those who claim to be the devotees of my devotees, they're my devotees.
Dropping that one. Nice.
Boom.
Thank you. So here Prabhupada's saying is bathing in the Ganges and serving a pure Vaishnava are also known as Tadiyana Upasanam. Upasana means to get close, but it also is a word used to mean to worship, to really honor and to worship in your mind and your heart, to get close. Tadiya Upasanam. And bathing in the Ganges, how is that Padasevanam? Because it's all coming from the feet of Lord Vishnu, right?
Yeah, you're worshiping Mother Ganga also.
And the pure devotee, well, they're located at the feet of Lord Vishnu, or the holy dams like Jagannath.
So you're there. You're there. You're doing it right now.
I'm trying to get in the mood. But these holy places are the places where the Lord's feet have touched also, So I think, it's all related to that. He says this is also Padasevanam. The word Tadiya means in relationship with the Lord. Service to the Vaishnava, to the Tulasi plant, to the Ganges River and the Yamuna all of them are included in Padasevanam. All these processes of Padasevanam help one, help one to advance in spiritual life very quickly. Very quickly.
Very good.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Gonna
Next
keep
one.
going with the purport. Archanam.
Okay, yeah.
So Archanam, this is the deity worship, but after Padasevanam comes the process of Archanam, worship of the deity. If one is interested in the process.
You're going to read the whole thing. I just took little excerpts.
Oh, okay.
Because otherwise it would take a very long time.
So now what?
Should I read the excerpts?
Oh, you got the excerpts. Okay, you made some excerpts. You go.
Because it's a very long commentary. Yeah. Okay. So here's some of the points Prabhupada makes. If one is interested in the process of Archanam, and again, that means like the temple worship where there's a carved form of the Lord as a manifestation of the Lord and as an object of meditation, right? If one is
God is everywhere, why do I have to worship God in the temple? Huh?
Because he's easier for you to focus on.
There you go. That's the answer.
Because it's your mind.
If he's everywhere, he's also in the temple then.
And so by practicing seeing him in the temple, then when you go out, you'll see him everywhere.
Yes.
That's the idea. Okay, so if one is interested in the process of Archanam, one must positively take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and learn the process from him. All right? It's not a game. It's a serious ritual that it's a science, Yeah. And you have to learn it. For the householder devotees, for married people and living in the home, the worship of the deity is compulsory. In our Krishna consciousness movement, there are brahmacharis, grihastas, vanaprasthas, and sannyasis. But the deity worship in the temple should be performed especially by the householders.
I had this realization, Prabhu. I had this realization because me and Mara were doing some shopping.
Okay.
And the shopping involves stuff for the deity. And I was thinking to myself, this is why they say deity worship is for householders, because you're engaging your senses. Your senses want to consume in one sense.
Yes.
And
you've got the freedom to do it as a householder, right? You got your own home, you got your own money, you got
right. But deity worship, it takes time and energy and thought, and it engages that which could be out consuming things for sense gratification. Now you're consuming,
Right.
what does the deity need? It's like this whole system makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. It's taking up my
does.
time and my energy, my thoughts, my resources to take care of a deity. And people say, well, you're just fabricating this whole thing. We're not. This is why
Science.
it's a science, how to purify yourself. Because you're a grihasta, you naturally are giving yourself some license for sense gratification, for being off the leash, for being out there in the world. And now you have these duties to take care of a deity in your home. And that's part of the, quote, decor. It's not really decor, but as a grihasta wants to decorate their house, a big part of it is, well, the deity is the center of my house. How can I decorate the deity? How can I?
You know, Raghunath, what's related to exactly what you're saying today is I was studying something today. It really had to do with, like, you know, the whole philosophical question about the problem of evil.
Yeah.
Like, why is there so much pain in the world if God is in control and God
Yeah.
is benevolent
Why?
and all of that? You know, and I saw an interesting answer to it. But it related to it like this. It was like saying it's not abusive of Krishna to give us free will. That's like a benediction that we have free will.
Right.
And it's necessary because if there's going to be love, it has to come freely. But the problem is how we use it.
Take some responsibility.
Take
for
some
the problems in
responsibility.
this world, please.
Yeah, so we have this degree of freedom.
Unless you're kidnapped. What about that?
Well, don't worry about that now. Just now, hold on.
I'm trying to defeat you, but it goes right to kidnapping.
What are you talking about kidnapping? I don't understand what you're getting into.
Well, how am I responsible for getting kidnapped?
How are you responsible? Maybe you
Yeah.
kidnapped someone in your previous life.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Could have done that.
How many animals have been kidnapped for your palate?
Yeah, I know, for my kielbasi. I was killing for kielbasi.
There you go.
Mhm.
So listen to me, Rabbi.
Thank
So the point is that there has to be we are ontologically dependent on that source, on Krishna. And we experience our fulfillment in his service. That's the design of the universe. But that's not like an abusive thing. It's just the nature of reality. It's how reality works. But here's the thing. Someone could say, why can't Krishna just create a reality where I can be happy without him? Right? Like, why
these lessons?
Yeah. Why can't I just be happy without Krishna? You're saying that if I try to live separately from Krishna, I begin to feel some pinch. Why couldn't he have just set up the world where I'll be happy without him? But the idea is that someone has to be the center of it all. Otherwise, there's no harmony. Otherwise, you just have everybody competing for their individual pleasures. So the universe is set up in a beautiful way where, like, that being who has unlimited energies and you know, and that expand in so many varieties of ways, including us and including our bodies and including our circumstances, that one being is ready to reciprocate with us and satisfy us and provide for us in the most absolutely satisfying ways. But there has to be some center to it. Otherwise, there's no harmony. Otherwise, everyone's just in competition, trying to dominate one another because of our selfish desires.
Sure.
And so it's a perfect system, and it's designed in a way where you participate in it if you want, and if you don't, you don't have to. But then it's designed in such a way to kind of like educate you to the benefit that's there for you if you just accept this blessing, you know, and it's a beautiful blessing. So what you were saying,
by the way, it makes sense if the soul is eternal. And we understand that everything, we're getting some reaction from something we've done. And we hate to think of that. No, I know myself. I would never do that. Yes, you would. Yes, and you have.
Okay.
You've done it. Take full responsibility and accept that you were a whole different being in your previous life. And even in this life, we're oblivious. We're obtuse. We're short-sighted, and we're myopic. Come on, people. You have a whole previous history of lifetimes of ridiculous activities, and you're trying to say, well, I'm a good person. It makes no
No, you're
sense.
not.
All the positive. No, you're not. You've made a lot of stupid choices in this lifetime and many other lifetimes. And the whole thing of keep a positive attitude, or, or forgive your enemies, or, like
Unto others?
it's not fair. Do unto other,
Where are you going?
I don't know where. I don't know. But my point is, it makes no sense unless we understand the soul is eternal.
Right.
Because
Okay, so
many,
what
many
you were
times have we
saying
been
was,
here.
like, say you go into someone's house, like Indraduna Swami invited me into his room today.
Yeah.
He has an altar that'll blow your mind.
Yeah, I've
tension.
been with his altar. I've been with his altar.
Oh man, like the devotion is often in the details.
I know. There's something
And
so
so-
clean about his
Oh,
altar.
pure and very special.
Yeah.
There's a story to tell about each deity, each element.
It's like a museum. It's almost like a museum,
Yeah, it's
except
like-
the deities are alive.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
like a museum means everything's sort of dead. Oh, this is ancient. This is ancient. His
Yeah,
is
right.
like ancient, but like living.
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you walk in there, and because his center is the same as my center, which is Krishna.
Yeah.
We harmonize with each other when he brings me in. Like someone may bring, people, they want to have a nice apartment or a nice house because they can bring guests over and impress them.
Right. It's
I'm a
really
special
It's
person.
about their ego.
And then another person comes in and looks at the house and says, oh, wow, this is really nice. But it's thinking,
I want to get this for my house. Or,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
never have done this in blue. Why did they pick blue?
because they both established themselves as the center. There's no harmony. Now,
Right.
so this archana, this worship of the deity, the
Mhm.
idea is it's a very practical way of engaging all that stuff. Is exactly like you're saying. We'll be using all that detailed thought to put ourselves in the center. But when you make that deity in your home the center of the home, then all that detailed thought goes into making Krishna the center, and that's where the harmony comes.
Mhm.
That's when everything starts to flow smoothly. There was that movie that Tom made, which beautiful movie, and at the end, it mentioned a girl asked you a question, like she was in the Krishna Balaram temple, and from her mind, she was saying, well, this is beautiful. Everyone's chanting. There's hundreds of people here chanting and dancing in this temple. But her question had something to do with like, but why do you have to have the deity?
Yeah, the question was, that's how the movie ended, but it was
Yeah.
he said, it's like they're all dancing for this doll. They're all dancing.
But
for
my
this
point
doll.
was because
But why don't they just dance for
beauty
each other? Why don't they dance for each other? Can't there just be? Why do we have to do it towards this doll? These
Yeah.
carvings.
But so what I thought when I heard that was, well, it's because they've all put Krishna in the center, and this is the ritual, meditative, scientific method for getting their minds aligned with one another, around that center, that you have that beautiful harmony there.
Yeah.
And here it's being stressed. So that's the purpose, and especially for grihastas, because brahmacharis, they're young people that don't have any material opulence of their own.
Mm-hmm.
Vanaprasthas are people that are winding down life and letting go of everything. And sannyasis, they have nothing. So especially grihastas, when you have a home, when you have a job, when you have money, you have to do this ritual. It keeps you focused in the right way. So Prabhupada continues. He said,
Let me jump in 1 second. This is a good analogy that you already know, but if people don't know this is a good one.
Mhm.
If you throw a
Post
bunch of
office,
pebbles
mailbox.
in a pond, all the
Oh, yeah.
rings will hit each other. But if all the pebbles land in the exact same place, the rings will never collide. So the idea is you have
Yes.
one, you go to the one, the center, the Lord, and then there's actual harmony. But if we see it, we are the center. We're like many. Yeah, my sense gratification is going to impede on your sense gratification. I'm going to draw the boundary line here. You're going to try to cross that boundary. You're going to go for this resource. I'm going to try to say, no, that's my resource. Let's have a fight for that resource, sir.
I mean, we don't need to do that.
Sure.
We don't need to do that. Okay. So then Prabhupada continues, Grihastha devotees, however, are generally engaged in material activities, and therefore, if they do not take to deity worship, their falling down is positively assured. Deity
Ouch.
worship, yeah, deity worship means following the rules and regulations precisely. It's a meditative practice that
Yeah, we
it's
got a
like
bunch
a
of
guided
householders. We got a
meditation.
bunch of householders watching the show on Zoom going, oh, boy. Oh,
It's a,
boy.
yeah. It's a guided meditation, right? And the guides are these ancient sages who just they figure out how to get the mind moving in that harmonious way. Deity worship means following the rule precisely. That will keep one steady in devotional service. Grihastha devotees must adopt the archana vidhi, or deity worship, according to the suitable arrangements and directions given by the spiritual master. Regarding those unable to take to the deity worship in the temple, there's the following statement from the Agni Purana. Any householder devotee circumstantially unable to worship the deity must at least see the deity worship, and in this way he may achieve success also. So you can visit the temple.
MyPoorTV.com or
MyPoorTV.com. Very good.
or that Krishna Balaram, you can watch the puja going on.
Right. The special purpose of deity worship is to keep oneself always, this is important, is to keep oneself always pure and clean, right? Because the deity's in the center of the house. Now the house has to be clean. Gus, he doesn't help with that. I understand.
He does help. He does it in his own dog-like way.
By licking the place up.
Yeah. Yes, he does. That's how he keeps things clean.
I see. Okay.
He has a different duties of this world.
D-
It's like the
different
Kshatriyas
standard.
have different duties, the Brahmins have different duties. My dog has different duties.
Okay. The special purpose of the deity worship is to keep oneself always pure and clean. Grihastha devotees should be actual examples of cleanliness. Observing the various types of festivals. This is important. Why are you two looking at each other?
We're looking
Mara,
at
you got Mara's like, I got a lot of work to lift the standard up
Yeah.
around here. Get out a big mop, Mara, today, and just start going
Just
all
spray me down with Lysol.
over.
You ever come
Observing
back
the-
from India and you're like, I'm just gonna sit in the bathtub and scrub myself.
No, but Raghunath, when I got home from that, having my head in that Calcutta motorcycle helmet, Uber helmet,
Oh, I hope you
How
scrub
many?
your skull.
how many greasy coconut oiled Calcutta heads had been in that helmet? you know. Right.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Observing the
Next
various,
time we're gonna get you in a palanquin, Prabhu.
okay, observing the various types of festivals, such as Sri Janmashtami, the birth of Krishna, Ram Navami, the birth of Lord Ram, and Nrsimha Chaturdasi, the birth of Lord Ram. These are also included in the process of deity worship. So this way everyone can participate. In other words, it is compulsory
Hmm.
for householder devotees to observe
Mhm.
these festivals. Important. It's kind of like saying, oh, Krishna, I love you. I want to love you. Well, it's my birthday. You didn't even come. Yeah.
Sure. It's my birthday.
Great.
You didn't even come.
Well,
The day
it was
after
kinda
my
this-
birthday is not my birthday, Mom.
right.
It's my birthday. I don't even know where that's from. I won't say it. After.
Oh,
Okay.
Chapu was saying that we should say the digging for water analogy.
Digging for water.
Oh,
Digging
this
for
goes to the
water.
question that you brought up earlier, Ragnar. Like, well, if God is everywhere, then why can't we just? Is that the analogy, Chapu, that you're talking about? I can't see her right now.
I
Let me
don't know.
put that view on. Is that the one where it's like that the well water's way down in the okay? So realization of the Paramatma in the heart is kind of like it's not easy to find God in your own heart. You know, that takes a lot of digging. It's kind of like digging a well. A well is deep. Digging a well is like almost inconceivable how to do it. You know, it's like you got to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig until you finally have
There were
water.
ways they did it in the old ways.
I'm sure you know. We're not done some research.
Yeah,
But,
first you need a divining rod. I have a guy up
yes.
here that still uses a divining rod.
Of course.
It's a thing.
I know, Raghunath. I'm with you. I've used
you? Have
those
you?
divining rods. Yes,
Yeah, but-
very successfully. Very successful. But a pond, a lake, that's right there on the surface. The water's right there on the surface. It's simple. It's clear. You can connect with the water immediately.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like to walk into a temple. It's hard to find God in your heart, but God is right there. And you can bring your mind, your senses all in focus on that. So that's a large part of what's. One last point that Prabhupada made about Archanam, the deity worship. He says, in the process of worshiping the deity is sometimes enjoined that one worship the deity within the mind.
Mm-hmm.
So like a sannyasi, renunciate who doesn't have a home and doesn't have money, he may just do the same exact ritual without the actual physical deity there, because that deity could be present. It said you can make the deity out of metal, out of wood, out of stone. It could be painted, et cetera, et cetera. And it can also be in the mind, made out of the stuff of the mind. And you can meditate on that deity. And there's a story, let's see what Prabhupada says. He says, in the process of worshiping the deity, it is sometimes enjoined that one worship the deity within the mind. In the Padma Purana, Uttarakhanda, it is said, all persons can generally worship within the mind. The Gautamiya Tantra says, for a sannyasi who has no home, here you go, worship of the deity within the mind is recommended. And in the Narada Pancharatra, it is stated by Lord Narayan that worship of the deity within the mind is called, Mara?
Manasa puja.
There you go. One can become free from the 4 miseries by this method. Sometimes worship from the mind can be independently executed. According to the instructions of Avirhotra Muni, one of the Navayogendras, as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, one may worship the deity by chanting all the mantras. 8 kinds of deities are mentioned in the Shastra, and the mental deity is one of them. In this regard, the following description, I didn't include that, but there's a description given in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Do you know what that is, Raghunath?
Of what the deity's made of?
No, of someone doing Manasa Puja. That Brahmana who was making sweet rice.
Oh, yeah. The Brahmana's making sweet rice, and he's stirring the sweet rice, and he goes to touch it.
But he's not making it. He's doing it all.
Making it all in his mind, but he touches himself and he burns himself. And
you got to get the detail a little tighter on the details here.
He touches it to see if it's hot.
He didn't touch himself. He touched the
sweet rice to see.
So in his mind, he's meditating that he's making this pot of sweet rice. You're cooking down the milk. It takes a long time. You put in the right ingredients. He's doing it all, and then he didn't want to offer it until it had cooled down enough.
Yeah.
And in his mind, he touched it, but when he touched it in his mind, he felt the burning on his finger, and he woke up and he looked, and his finger was burned.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And his external body, and then he offered the sweet rice.
No. Then he looked up in the air, and I think the Vishnu Dudas were coming down with like an airplane, like
this is a whole thing. There's a constant ongoing thing. There's one story, but there's a constant ongoing thing about how devotees are in some metaphysical state, meditation, and it actually manifests in their external world. We were just reading about Narottam Das Thakur and Srinivasacharya doing the same thing, being in their deep meditation in service of Radharani, and then all of a sudden it manifests in this world. There was also the burning of the hand, or who was that? Narottam.
Yeah, Narottam Das Thakur.
Sounds like dangerous.
It can be dangerous. The Serviam Krishna can be dangerous if you're going into your meditation.
I think boiling milk can be dangerous.
Boiling milk is very dangerous, even boiling milk in the mind. We got to
Well, it sounds like every time we hear about someone doing the meditation, they get burned.
Yeah, I know. Can't they do
more
something
dangerous.
like, I just ate a gulab jamun and now feel very satisfied? Can't that happen in my meditation? Why does it always have to be some type of
burning,
3rd-degree burn? Okay, it's 7:04. We gotta wrap.
Well, then you have to meditate on an emergency ward. Burn.
Mara, do you have any takeaways?
I do have some takeaways today.
All right, what do you got, Mara?
Our spiritual life depends on our attentive chanting.
Yeah, we gotta take it to the next level. Everyone, don't wait as long as it took Raghu and I to figure this out. Yeah. Right?
I think of other times of our life we already had this figured out, but then Maya covers up, and then we're like, no, we got to go to other things. No, we got to bring it back to the hearing of the holy name in a focused way. Distracted. You know what that means? Lock up the phone. That's the new Raghunath. He's going to lock up the phone during the japa. You don't get it. You don't get it. You don't look at it. You don't keep it near you. Lock it up. Write that one down. Lock it up.
Lock it up.
Pull the trigger. That was last week's. I don't know what it was about, but it was a good one.
Lock it up.
Minimize everything else, but don't minimize chanting.
Put 2 locks on it.
Hear and chant here to prepare to hear and chant in holy places.
Ooh, hear and chant here to hear and chant
And vice
there.
versa.
Hear and chant here to hear and chant there.
Yeah.
And then
And
hear
then
and
when you're
chant there to hear and chant here.
And then when you're here, you'll be there.
Hare Krishna.
See God in the temple to practice seeing God everywhere.
See God
Yeah.
there to see God
See him
here and
here
everywhere.
and everywhere.
And here there. Here.
And hear him here
hear him here.
so that you'll hear him.
Where? See what he wears to hear him here.
Okay.
Make Krishna the center to live in harmony.
Wear
right.
what he wears. Where?
There, so you can hear what he
There.
sees
But who cares? I care.
there.
The devotion is in the details.
Oh, yeah. Details, Raghu. Details.
Details.
You would do it, and you have, accept full responsibility.
You were not a good person.
And accept that our life is in Krishna's hands and get on the Uber motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had to do. I
That's
said,
what you had to
Krishna,
do. Okay, this is what you sent me, Krishna. I'm going for it. Thanks, Roy, for
It's-
joining us. Congratulations to Babananda, who went to Silver Tulsi Mala.
congratulations.
Yes, our trivia question. The answer to the other question was Badrinath. Saraswati comes from the Badrinath, and then it sort of like disappears and goes. It goes sort of.
But is
into a
Badrinath the
mystic
source, or does it just pass through Badrinath?
realm. No, it's a source.
Okay.
Babananda, send me your address.
There's like a
Send it.
glacier there or something like that?
No, it just comes from the earth, Bubba.
Yeah.
Anyway. The Swamis of Vrindavan starring Kastuba. It
How did that
does
happen?
look like Kastuba.
It really does.
And I'm going to see some people in Miami and Tampa next week. I'm going to have my new book. Check it out, Punk to Monk. You might have ordered it. But you know what we say if you ordered one.
Double it.
Some of you guys have already gone out and ordered 2. I want to thank you for that. Double that. Double that. Make it 4. Why not? And we're going to be back on tomorrow at 6 a.m. Right.